Welcome to Philly Coco Presents Side Project Spotlight, episode 87. This is a developer's journey into making cool stuff. I'm Kotaro.
I'm Steve.
And I'm Aaron.
And we are Philly Coco, a Philadelphia-based Coco Heads community focused on Apple development that primarily, but not exclusively, means iOS, Mac, tvOS, watchOS, and visionOS development. Philly Coco's true desire is to take you higher on your own developer journey. Whew, all right.
That's right.
All right.
And Aaron's back this week.
Yay.
Not really, because I haven't gotten anything done.
Well, you're back on the pod.
Yeah, back on the pod.
The trio is back.
Hope you've enjoyed your vacation.
Yeah, it wasn't long enough.
Yeah, where did you go?
Yeah.
Was it
Jamaica.
to a beach? Yeah, you did go to a beach. Went to Jamaica. That's amazing. So give me the highlights of Jamaica. What is awesome about Jamaica? Why should I go?
Well, we didn't.
Keep in mind, I'm like a
Yeah.
vampire, and the sun burns me.
Maybe you shouldn't
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Okay, pretend I'm a normal person who wears a lot
Okay,
of
you should
sunscreen.
probably just stay in the all-inclusive and drink a lot of alcohol.
Yeah, maybe that's not what I did.
Yeah, I don't think so.
was
I didn't think so.
mostly-
So what's the highlights?
Mostly riding my bike in some just amazing different terrain. Like you can go from like the beach to the like this like arid kind of almost desert, and then like sugarcane
This-
fields, and then into the mountains, and just like all in 30 miles. It's crazy.
Wow.
This man brought his own bike.
Yeah.
Of course
How do
I
you bring
did.
your own bike? How do you bring your own bike there?
I have a bike case, and the airlines, like several years ago, they got less restrictive about bringing oversized stuff as long as it's a sports equipment. So, like skis or golf
So,
stuff, I guess.
do you-
But
Does
Do you
Yeah,
that,
disassemble the
carry-on
bike?
case?
I have a bike case where basically you just need to take off the front and rear wheel, and then it like bolts into the bottom of this like suitcase thing that rolls. Yeah, it's not too much. You have
Cool.
to like take the handlebars off and like
And
put them on the side. But yeah, other than that, like I don't ride like a huge bike, so I'm not that tall. But
yeah.
if you're
It's
if you're
checked
taller,
luggage.
if you're taller, you might need like to take some more components apart. But for me, it's just like take the wheels off, take the handlebars off, and then yeah.
So it's in a case,
Yep.
and it's
Yeah.
like so it goes
Yeah.
into the checked luggage.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah,
right.
definitely. Yeah, you can't carry it on.
Yeah, you can't fit that in the carry-on.
Yeah.
Hey, wait, let me get my bicycle up here, guys.
Yeah,
It'll fit. So that sounds cool.
Nice.
So you got to see a whole bunch of different environments, kind of like it's an overworld screen on a Mario Brothers game or something.
Maybe. I haven't played
Yeah,
one of those
like
in a
Mario-
while, but yeah.
Well, I was
It's
just
like-
Because
thinking
this
the
guy
new
knows what Mario Brothers
Yeah.
new Mario Kart
is.
game. Isn't the new Mario Kart game like that? I don't know. The new one for Switch too.
I don't know. It's not out yet.
So you went to Jamaica and you didn't lounge and you didn't drink. You rode your bike.
Yeah. I did a little bit of a
Mostly.
lot of relaxing
Nice.
and reading and stuff like that. Yeah, good about it, bike riding and also running. A little bit of swimming.
I bet you
Nice.
he did not read any technical books.
No,
nothing.
Sleep
Definitely not.
UI, no LLM white papers, none of that.
I was doing some of that stuff for a work project, like a side project at work. We can talk about that
Not when
later.
you're on vacation. Though.
No. After I got back.
Well,
Right.
cool. Well,
So-
welcome back. You're
So
just in time.
I thought you were
Yes.
just going to replace me with an AI. So
Well, I don't know. At the rate that I'm going through and testing different solutions, maybe I'll stumble upon one. The latest one we'll talk about today bills itself as a pair programmer. So
has it
yes,
taken my job yet?
Little,
no,
jeez, holy cow!
no, no, not yet.
I mean, we joked about it, like vibe coding, and how hilariously off the rails it gets.
It went off the rails for this one too.
Yeah, but
It's on height. That's a skill issue. Like honestly, I asked it to do too much and I broke it.
I mean, I asked it to do too much, and I was very vague about my request. So when you
Yeah, you
tell
can't be vague.
when you tell an LLM, hey, I want to make build me an iOS app that is a
Build me an app.
Build me an
That's the
app
only
that is
thing
a
I have to
to-do
say.
list. Let's say it's a to-do list app that is, brings back, weather using WeatherKit. Or for some reason. I don't know why you would do a to-do list app with the WeatherKit integration, but
Yeah.
It will do some of the things well with very little context of all the files in relations to each other. It will just have this really weird, like, it'll do it backwards. So it'll create the model, it'll create the, it'll kind of work inversely. It'll create the model file, it'll create the view model, it'll create the view, and then it'll create the app entry, and it'll forget to create the project. Or it will create the project, but it will not reference the project well. And he's like, and if you are again vague and you go make it better or fix this, right?
Yeah.
It will fix it by copying everything that it had, putting it into a new folder, and then creating the project in that new folder. So
you and the folders thing. Every time you mess with this, it just keeps adding folders. I didn't have any of those problems.
Or it'll create blank files. I've seen that, and it will just hey, this file you need it, and it's a model file. It's a data model file, and
it'll do that.
It's not there. Like, did you miss something? But anyway, I digress.
Anyway, that's our vibe coding follow up right there. Still.
Never go full vibe is the title.
Go full vibe.
So
to do the Bento Fit update, yes. I guess mostly we've been just trying to get the UI.
Before you we go with the updates, could you explain to the people who have not been on this podcast?
Bento Fit, the story so far.
Just what it is, that's all.
It is a health kit dashboard app, which is surfacing a specific subset of all the stuff that's in health kit that is useful to us, themed along the idea of three of us being on different stages of our fitness journey, from couch slob Kotaro to triathlon Adonis Aaron, and me somewhere in the middle with trying to get in shape.
Only a slight exaggeration there.
Just a little bit.
There's not a tinge of smugness there. Only a slight.
He's the one who's the Adonis. I'm just like,
not really.
So
he could have been a sloth for 2 weeks.
Sloth.
And he chose to bring a bike.
Yeah, well, you're the one who called yourself a slob, Kotaro, or a blob or something.
Fair. Touche.
So, but the idea is like you're active, but you're not necessarily exercising. So a lot more focus on step counting and distance, maybe that kind of thing. You got Aaron, who's really interested in distance travel or running and like maybe biking specific stuff, workout specific things, and then me in the middle, where I'm kind of interested in a little of both and a lot of stuff about cardio fitness, because that's what I've been focused on. And so we've added some health kit methods to bring some of that data forward, and we're adding more as we go along. The point of it, code name Bento Fit, is so that it's in the theme of a bento lunch, like from Japan or Japanese anime. If you've never been to Japan, like most of us, like the delicious lunches that all the superhero teenagers have for some reason. It's like a law, right? They have to animate food really realistically or something in Japan.
It is as required in all modern anime as they come. You can't have
It's always delicious looking, but the point
it's
is
basically a trope.
It's a trope, but a bento has food in like little. It's usually like a rectangular. I guess it doesn't have to, but it's often a rectangular container. The food's neatly arranged in a little rectangle, kind of like a dashboard or home screen or something. And we're doing the same thing with our metrics. And so sometimes the metrics are going to be, maybe numerical. Sometimes it'll be charts. And we're just kind of hoping you can make your own little dashboard out of this stuff. And we have a barely dog foodable version that now is so broken that we broke it. We broke it, but it looks nice. So there you go.
So and it's partially I'm to blame for this, because I decided, let me figure out a way to normalize this data in some way and introduce, some protocols that would be like, if you're in the object-oriented world, it's like a base class, and then, but it's, you kind of like saying it's just like this is the base protocol of like how they should all subscribe to in terms of each data item, like each each health kit data item or data point, as we're calling it. And then underneath that, there's like a single and a protocol for a single data point, which is like, just think of it like just one step count, that's the number. That's the only thing you really need, right? Just one data point to display my daily step count, my daily, my daily calorie burned, whatever. And then there's one with a multi-data point, which is kind of like an array. It's an array of tuples. Is this some of this what I generated? That is what you generated.
Yeah.
But
we modified it. Yeah.
Right. So one of the things that we had to figure out is like, okay, how do I make sure that we build like a concrete type for it and then allow it to sort of mutate. So like when you add these as sort of like generic to say, hey, I want to make this bento item just a single data point versus this one to be like a trend. Like I want to have like a chart, a line chart with it.
Yeah.
And that would use a multi-data point.
Yeah. I mean, and these are for the user interface.
Yeah.
HealthKit will give you data with as like basic types like doubles and, and a lot of doubles. I think that's what, it gives you, we're double here, double there. Yeah, I mean, we get mostly doubles out of it. And then you can translate them to whatever you want. Sometimes there's dates involved, but that's mostly in the processing of it. Weights. So, I mean, we had already done some work to kind of standardize some of the stuff that comes out of the HealthKit layer. And then what you're talking about is more like what is the model. So we have a distinction between the HealthKit integration, which is just an actor right now, and that actually holds on a reference to the HealthKit, the health store, and that's where we actually have the code that does the queries to HealthKit, and then that returns stuff, mostly basic types, and right now there's a few things like some tuples that we set up and some like type aliases to make things a little more clear, and then that gets called from a health model, which is an observable. That's why it's called a model. And in the observable model here, this is what the UI has to bind to. So it might be nice to have something that's more standardized so that the views can just be more easily, I guess, reused, right? And that's the idea. Right. And so then you made this health data point thing, which is which is what's called right now, but that's what we're talking about, these protocols, which I mean, because like if you're not super familiar with Swift UI, when you want to do a lot of stuff, Swift UI, you need like types that often are identifiable. For instance, like you need to have like an ID of some sort, and sometimes they need to be hashable. They need to have conformances to certain protocols so you can easily use them in Swift UI. So it makes sense to have this distinction between the types that are kind of getting returned by the quote unquote database layer and the types that are actually getting bound to the user interface. And it's not always clear cut how you do that translation. And that's what I think we're wrestling with. But I think what we came up with here with a combination of you, me, and Grok, the AI tool, it kind of works. It's so far. I mean, it's not like pretty, but it does make some sense.
I didn't write any tests for these, so I can't validate that.
Yeah, well, I tried making it work. I thought I saw something on the screen one time, and then I reverted everything.
Yeah.
But
so it's just hilarious because like during that period of time, when I built it and I was like, okay, I need help, and I literally like put up a PR or a draft. Originally it was a draft PR, and I was like with a tag, help needed or help wanted.
Yeah, I saw that, and then I copied I copied the place of the code into the context window for Grok, and I started messing with it in there.
Yeah. And you did give me some like feedback on that, which I was grateful for, because it did provide at least a direction of like, okay, I can kind of read it and understand. And ultimately, there was some situations where I had to know, because like there's maybe I'm just being neurotic about it, and I'm just not comfortable with just throwing any types. So there's like an any view somewhere in that because it needs to be, relatively flexible to say, hey, this is, this can be a single or it can be a multi, right? Like that in the app view, where it's kind of like the entry point of the app, or at least, I'm sorry, not entry point, but the entry point of the view of the main part of the app. The hard part was like saying, okay, I want to give it this particular bento item the ones that are just plain squares, I want to give them like a single data point model, right? Just to test out.
Yeah,
and then
right.
anything with like a 2-column count should be, like a full row should be a trend of some kind. And then that can be like a multi data point, but more. But I was trying to be generic. I was trying to like add generic, so like it's like doesn't matter which one. You just put it in and it'll figure itself out. It's like
there's like a whole other set of protocols in here that are not the ones we were just talking about that are similar. It's just like these have associated types, which is like a giant red flag. It's not that you can't use associated types; you use them all the time, but you always have to think very carefully about whether you want to do that with protocol.
Yeah. I mean that's where I was sort of fighting the the system, or trying to get too cute. Really, I mean, really, this was me trying to get cute about it.
I think you're getting too cute about it. Like if you're going with a protocol-oriented design, I think the best approach, the approach that's worked for me, is you just make the stuff concrete, and then you start making the protocols from it when you've done a few, and you're like, okay, I kind of see where the commonalities are that I want to extract. Because if you go the other way, you over-engineer it.
Which I think I did here.
Definitely.
Like the card size, right? It's like unnecessary and probably can be deleted, which is just me.
Yeah, I mean,
preemptively saying,
Yeah, it's like okay, well, what if you get to the point where you want a feature, which is like, I want the cards to be different sizes or something, or I need to know, because the same thing happens with the widgets. I mean, widgets are different sizes, right? So you do have to possibly identify them, but do you need to identify them right now, or is that something you do later?
No, not at all. It's just again.
Yeah. So, but it's the same. It does make sense. You took the health data point thing and you basically tried making this new associated type ones over here.
I don't know if that was.
What is it?
Which one?
It's data type.
Where does this come
data
from? Type is.
It's just a name.
Type.
It's just a name.
It's just a name.
Okay, it's just whatever it is.
It's like its own version of a generic, basically.
Except it's associated type, not a. I mean, if you constrain the protocols, you might be able to get better too. The thing is, most of the data types at the end of the day are doubles.
Right.
Or they're going to be like, we're going to want to display them as an integer around it or something like that.
Right. So in the struts down there, the multi-card data, there was like a data type, and I did a type alias to call them just associated with an int, but that probably should be reviewed.
You created a protocol, multiple protocols that have an associated type. You just name data type because you can name it whatever you want. And then later you made a concrete type, a struct, where you create a type alias called data type, which alias is int, which is awesome because that's interesting choice. That's an interesting choice. I like that.
Exactly.
It's just like in the same file, there's data type. You're like, what does it mean in two different places? No, that's because naming is very hard in software.
Yes.
So don't worry about it. But I get what you're doing. And this, I don't actually understand why you did the type alias here for this. Just for some visual.
I mean, I think I was just trying to. Again, it was going back to getting too cute because I was trying to like anticipate. Like maybe that's not a dit. Maybe that's not an int. Maybe I need to figure that. Yeah,
you
that
could
was
just
like
make another one of these that had that was like a double or something.
Yeah.
Or you could do a generic. I mean, you could do a generic.
That's what I was thinking. I think I started out with type alias, and I really meant to do it as a generic.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Because that's what you want, like you want to be able to tell it what type it is. That way you can reuse the struct. So it looks like it's coming along. And then on the app view, you commented out all the stuff because it was all broken.
Because it was breaking it. Yeah,
and I tried to fix it, and it made it worse. And then I undid everything. Because
the thing about like the load card, for example, was like they're all prefixed.
Yeah. Oh yeah, these.
Yeah, so they're so basically we already had like these sort of like templated out bento card items that now I want to make it a little more dynamic. I want to be able to say, hey, now I want to, because ultimately I was trying to save this data so that we can make, right? We had sort of canned data models basically that filled the UI. Like you still were doing the actual fetch of the health kit data, but they were like canned like UI and canned models. And now I wanted to like save them and make them like hack codable and get them to a point where we can save them at least to a user default or something.
You have an array of views, which is also kind of interesting.
Right, that's a bad idea.
Yeah, I mean, I tried making it work. I was like, this is not going to work, is it? It did not work.
Yeah, that was a bad idea, and that should be
because so there's a state here. There's an @state private var an array of views, which not generally recommended, I guess. Because it doesn't really work well in SwiftUI because it's like you try using it like you're using it here tried to use it in a for each, and it just doesn't work because it doesn't conform to, I think, some protocols it needs. I tried doing it and it didn't work at first. And then I tried fixing it and that made it worse. So then I was like, this is just not going to work.
Well, so the thing is like it was working when we had it at the load card. So it works
because they're all the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So whatever, we can fix this. But you were also doing, I thought the bulk of your work was you were messing with this and you were also doing the actual UI. I saw a lot of UI updates on the, I guess they weren't implemented. They were just
it was in Sketch.
In Sketch? You want to bring up Sketch for us to look at? Not you, the listener, because we don't do visual here. Just use your imagination.
Use your imagination.
We'll describe it. Kotaro will describe it with his
someday you'll be able to download
best
this
sultry
app.
voice.
What's that?
Yeah, someday you'll be able to download it. Actually,
right,
if this is the future and you're listening to this, you can download the app right now.
Can you see this or?
I can't see anything. You have to share the screen.
I can see.
I thought I did.
Oh, I can't.
Is that your desktop thing? Let me stop sharing. Let me just share the whole window.
I stopped sharing.
Okay, let me share.
We are professional software developers. We
share the entire screen.
Definitely know how to use this software.
Hopefully nothing breaks. Can you see that?
Yes, now we can see it.
Okay,
this is literally every remote meeting ever starts this way. Can you see that?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Does my screen work? Can you see my screen? Every meeting I have, it's like that in the beginning. Anyway,
okay,
so we're looking at what exactly?
So on the left, so I created like a light mode, dark mode version, but then the light mode is the one you really want to look at here. And what I decided to kind of play on, I was like, I think the original idea was using creating like a Bento UI, if people know that UI paradigm, where it's basically a grid of dashboards and various different shapes and sizes, usually a square or a rectangle or a big blob, but nothing more complex than that. So if you think about it from that context, that's what this UI kind of looks like. And then so there's like for small, simple data items like, heart rate, maybe you only care about like the number. And a lot of this stuff is meant to only be you only need to look at it in a quick dash, and then you're out. You're kind of in and out. This is the kind of app that's meant to be like an in and out type of app.
Yeah, exactly. And these are also going to be probably be what the widgets are, the views that widgets use too.
Yeah,
the actual widget kit widgets we're talking about.
Yes. So I kept trying to keep it relatively modern in the sense of like not too many colors. Originally, that's what I did.
Yeah.
And then I kind of got a little bit crazy with the drop shadows. So
I like it.
Like in here, there's a little bit.
I know. Look at that. It's like embossed. Is that the technique? It looks embossed.
Yeah. So it looks. What I'm kind of going for is like do you know those old school digital watches, like Casio watches, right? Where they have
the liquid crystal, and there's like a little shadow behind it all the time.
Yeah. So I kind of want to do that sort of liquid crystal-esque kind of thing. So it's inspired by
it reminds me of that. Yeah.
So it's inspired by that kind of look, but normally they're all generally black and white, black and over like, whatever, like a.
Well, we even have color e-ink now. I think we can have a little bit of color in our.
You're right. So now
our skeuomorphic design here.
Yes. And keep in mind, like I went a little bit crazy in terms of like, I was getting real like.
You got custom fonts you added into the repo, I saw.
Yes. I added a Tomorrow font.
Do we have a license for that?
It's a Google font.
Oh, it's a Google font. Well, what does that mean? Does that mean yes, I guess?
It means yes.
Okay, nice. So Tomorrow, it looks like a kind of like a Casio watch font, but not as extreme, like more resolution.
Yeah, and then the other thing that I wanted to do was like, okay, maybe in the charts we can have like, as you said, sort of much more of like a very simple colors palette of like,
Yeah.
with the active green. So if you know
I like that.
Is it Apple Watch? I forgot which one.
Apple
has that has a little like lime green kind of UI. So kind of went with that. Still undecided if I like this look where it's a little more, again, like I'm still trying to use there's like a brand called Takenara, which is like a bento box making company.
Right, you're showing me that. I wanted to order one of their boxes, but they had the color when it was sold out.
Yeah, they also have a white one too, but like this is kind of inspired by that white one where it's very clean lines, very very simple. But none of these buttons, these sort of top nav buttons on the top right of the thing, it's unnecessarily skeuomorphic in a sense. Like it has no relationship to the entire experience. It's just there as like, hello, I'm orange and I'm just following like 2000, 24, 23, Johnny Ive, like kind of like vision. Yeah, the White Room Johnny Ive with like a hint of a splash of orange, right? So and then I've figured, let's add the weather in there somewhere for some stupid reason. So I have
smells like scope creep. I love it.
I know, but I was working with WeatherKit and I was like, it's not too bad. It's not too bad.
Oh, that's cool. I mean,
then the other thing that I wanted to do is like as you scroll up the nav bar, which is kind of like a traditional large nav bar title, kind of more mechanic, and it would just kind of go up and it'll almost feel like a shelf. So things will like
how hard is
slide
that to
in.
do? I don't think I've ever done that.
Not too bad actually, because especially now that we are iOS 18.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things you can do with the scroll. There's a lot of scroll view modifiers that are absurdly cool, and I kind of want to play with them. That allows you to like and figure out like, we're moving up, and we move up to this amount, and we can like identify that pretty easily now.
Until June when we upgrade this to iOS 19 before release, and then we get to remake everything.
iOS 19 is just going to change all the things. So all this stuff, all this work is going to be completely useless.
Watch this be like, we got it done. It's a week before Dub, and we're ready to put it out there. And then like the next week, we have to completely redesign everything again because everything's now looks like different.
The way I'm looking at it is like it's meant to evoke, at least the light mode version is meant to evoke kind of like a very like, it's hard to explain it because I can only explain it in the context of like Japanese home devices where it has those silly like you said, liquid displays everywhere, and then it has like this Japanese woman's voice, and it's like your hot tub is ready and ready to go, or something like that. It's just constant, but it just like I wanted to inspire that kind of metaphor, whereas I think in the dark mode version I wanted to inspire the Tron metaphor.
Yeah.
So either way, you're like,
that's
this
an interesting
is cool.
mix.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like it.
Like no relations to each other in that sense.
No, they don't even use the same fonts. It's totally different.
No, well in this case, this would change, but
that'll change.
But the color scheme,
scheme
will be the same, at least for now.
Well, I mean, you often have to do that for dark mode.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's basically the progress that I've made.
Excellent. So we just are we ready to implement some of these designs to some degree in a new design system module?
That will be my goal for this coming sprint, is to get a lot of those components laid out, and looking good, so that when we bring it in, it's like, ooh, I like what I'm seeing. So in that same PR, I snuck in the fonts. Nice.
That's what we need. We need to put design system in.
Yeah.
And since you didn't do the crazy thing I did, which I added fonts to a module, you just did it to the main bundles. Yeah. I have a problem now with another app where it's like, I haven't fixed it yet, where it keeps trying to load the fonts multiple times, and I don't know why, and it keeps giving me errors in my log. And I'm just like, it's probably because I'm using Swift Package Manager stuff. Every problem I have is like related to Swift Package Manager. I don't regret doing it, but it's like, just always sharp edges, which actually brings us to, I guess, if we want to move into the AI of it all, because every time I ask AI to do stuff with Swift Package Manager, it'll do something. I'll ask it to do something like, you can't do that with Swift Package Manager. And it's like, oh, you're right, you can't. And then it'll parrot back to me what I just told it.
Don't
because it's
tell
a
me
stochastic parrot. And
you're still experimenting with some AI products.
So that is it for our Bento Fit update. We have UI that's not implemented. Everything's broken, but we'll fix it for next time. Don't worry. That's how it goes.
Trust
Side
us.
project. It's fun.
Trust
so
us.
in the meantime, I was trying to continue with my desperate attempt to make faster progress through the power of code munging LLMs, and I've had as much success as we've previously talked about, where everything is borked, but I've had fun doing it. So the latest experiments
Productivity is like down here, but
it's
fun is
it's
up
gone
here.
down. It has gone down. My productivity using these tools is like 10 times, but negative. So it's just it's bad.
I
been
thought
bad.
the Parmesan had said if this makes you 20 times, 20% more efficient, then it's good. But it will never make you 10x, because that implies that's 10 of you, the you, but like 10 of you, right?
I like
so
that.
If
That's a contender for the tag right there. but
it's you, but 10 of you.
Yeah. But
Right? So like 10 of you doing the same work.
You have the communication overhead of 10 of you all trying to do the same commits at the same time. So anyway,
Imagine myself talking to 10 of me, trying to
just listen to multiple podcasts at once.
exactly.
So what was I doing? This time I was trying something different. So I was on X a while back, and I think it's where I saw this. I think it was Eric S. Raymond, a famous programmer. I think it was him, and he had a post about how he found this AI tool. And whenever I say AI, imagine me going AI with scare quotes, because I hate the term AI. So AI tool that could keep up with him, I think is what he said. And he's tried a bunch of stuff. And so it was this thing called Aider, which I don't know if I ever heard of it before this, but we're going to look at the website briefly, if I can remember how to share my screen. Here we go.
Aider's wonderful tagline is
AI pair programming in your terminal. So it is basically just I think it's an open source project that lets you access LMs in your terminal. And their website is aider.chat. It's actually pretty easy to set up. Step one was installing Aider, which not too difficult. A couple of wrinkles. I had to actually, I think I made myself a note that let me look up how to install it. Okay, so on Mac OS, I had to set up Aider with PIPX, which is I think some Python thing that I don't know about, because I first did with Homebrew and that did not work right. It kind of worked, and then I tried to do something with a help system, and that couldn't install things. So then I found out apparently it doesn't quite install right. Sometimes you do it with those package managers, so I had to use that. But I had to tell it to use Python 3.12 because it doesn't work with 3.13. And I had to use Homebrew to install PIPX. And then once I had that, then I had to do like PIPX EnsurePath and EnsurePath Global. Then it worked.
You've discovered the joys of Python environments.
Exactly. So once I got my Python environment working, then I got Aider running. And then in Aider, I actually turned on interactive help, which is actually really cool. It's a little slow on my machine. I don't know what the reasoning is for that. Maybe because it's an M1. But it allows you to actually ask it questions about what it can do, like its own help system, which is actually super helpful because you're like, well, what can you do? What can Git can you do? What can you do for Git? How do I do chat? Whatever. And it'll give you the documentation back. So that's nice. But once I had Aider installed, then the next question is, what do I hook Aider up to? And I wanted to try out the new Google Gemini models because everybody's saying they're so great. And I was like, okay, well, how do I do it? Do I want to sign up, get an API key or whatever? And then I was like looking around for ideas, and someone said, oh, online people I use OpenRouter. I'm like, what's OpenRouter? OpenRouter is a unified interface for LLMs, what they say on their website. It's at openrouter.ai, and it's literally what it sounds like. It routes you to LLMs running on different providers all kinds of different models. And the way it works, you have to set up an account with them, and then you give them money, and they charge a fee for you to buy credits with them. And then they use the credits to pay, I guess, for their API calls to the models, like something like that. So from my perspective, I just put money in, and then they just deduct it from my pool of credits. And they have all these models, and you can see how much the models cost, and you can see their uptime, and there's all kinds of features in here. It's really neat. I had another problem with this, trying to get this set up, because I created an account, and I created an email account, and then it was just like hung for most of a day, like hours and hours. Every time I would try to go into settings, it would just give me this error, the 401, like my user didn't exist. And then I'd go online and like, what does this mean? And people are like, my account got deleted. I was like, well, how did my account get deleted? I just literally created it. And then I actually went to their Discord to try to find this, and a couple people had the same problem, and the support people there were like, I've seen a few people have this problem. I don't know. And I was like, okay, fine. You know what? I'll come back to this later. They were like, their solution for people who had this exact error message, but a different situation was to make a new account with a different email address, because you can't apparently reuse an email address once it's been deleted in their system. So I don't know. I'm not trying to throw shade at OpenRouter or anything. I'm just saying there was a little bit of a hiccup getting my account created, but I went and did other things, and then it just fixed itself. So I guess it really was just part of the error message was our servers may be syncing, so just try again later. Turns out that actually was true. It just took a while for something to sync. Eventually, I got an email, like another email that was telling me, welcome to, OpenRouter and stuff. And then I was like, oh, maybe it's working. And I went in and it works. So that's how I was able to put in money. You go and you add credits. And I added $10, and it cost me $10.90. And then you can go and look at your usage, and it tells you the cost and the speed and the provider, all that kind of stuff. It's really cool. And I was like, okay, what model am I going to use? I was looking here. Aider understands a lot of models. It doesn't apparently understand Gemini Flash right now, this particular one, but it works. It just gives you an error message when you run it at first. So I wanted to try the Gemini one, but there's a bunch of Gemini ones, and I went with 2.5 Flash Preview is what it's called on OpenRouter, because that one's 15 cents per million input tokens and 60 cents per million output tokens, which is very cheap, versus the Pro one, Gemini 2.5 Pro, which everybody seems to be using. This one's like $1.25 input, $10 per million output. There's a whole bunch of models in here. They cost a lot more. So I went with the Flash one. So I got all that set up. I got an API key. So you get an API key from OpenRouter, and then you are basically good to go. See, now I'm trying to demo it and everything just broke.
It's all happening in the terminal, for which he is asking the questions.
Well, I'm trying to get out of the whole thing so that I
told
can...
it to quit, and it said okay, and then it did not quit.
It's not
exit. What am I?
I can't
Control
get
C
out of the
didn't.
Matrix.
Control C's not working.
Okay, there we go.
All right, we're back.
Okay, so I wanted to just show you how you started it up. You just run Aider and you tell what model to use. You get the actual string to put in at an OpenRouter, and then it's going to try to connect to it. I already set my environment variable up with my API key, so that's where it reads the API key from. And because this one doesn't know, the specific model, it doesn't know which one it is. It gives you this little warning message, and I just ignore it. I don't want to open the documentation because it's fine. So it uses some kind of defaults. See, I've only been barely trying Aider, so I don't know all the details. But then once you're in Aider, it's just there. It's like you're in a terminal again. But you have all of these slash commands. Like you can do code, which will make changes to your code. You can do ask. There's like a new chat mode, apparently.
There's no vibe mode.
That's kind of, I think that's kind of code.
That's code? Okay.
Well, I mean,
because it will still be like, it's not an auto thing, right? It'll change it, but it won't necessarily.
Well, so the way that
you would have to confirm it.
The way that their website says to use it is you open it up in a Git repo. It works at the level of a Git repo, and then they say on the website to add in the files. There's like a /add command. Add in the files that you want in the context, but don't add in more than what you want. And also the program will attempt to find and add other files that are related. So kind of like when we were using Cursor, and it would just like find things. but it's not as hands off like vibe coding, and which is probably beneficial in my case because the vibe coding went out of control. However, it could still do a lot. So if you just ask it to do crazy stuff, it'll just do crazy stuff. So let's see what do we want to do. Let's mess up this branch.
Fix my model. Make it run. Make it runnable.
If I ask it to do that, it's gonna. Okay, you know what? Okay, fine. Make
That's what we have
this
Git for.
code work. This is not how you use these tools.
Are you not vibing right?
Code. Oh, we need to know which code. Wait, okay.
All the code. Okay, I need make this app. Make this app be able to build and run.
Well, which be a little more specific. Which app view?
Okay.
Like which thing? So we add app view in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it should technically build and run, so it would actually answer the question. But
update the app view so that it uses what the Bento was it called Bento data or something?
Yeah, the health data point. Yeah. Yes. There we go. That's nice.
Okay. Let's see. So it used health data point to create bento cards. Now it's going to Gemini, and I just told it to code things, so it's just spewing out code changes. Okay. Attempt to fix lint errors. Yes, please. So this is sort of vibe coding because now it found it. So this is what happened before. I had to do something too vague, and then it kept going in this loop trying to fix mistakes, and then it just stopped because of I did this too many times. I give up.
All right.
So we're gonna see.
It is. What is it doing?
I don't know what it's doing. We're vibe coding again.
Why is it returning? Because you have to be.
It's sort of not doing anything right now. I don't know what it's
doing.
doing.
God, no!
We're waiting.
Don't do that.
It added a state variable for the health model, and it added it to the environment. Even though we already had that.
It doesn't need to do that.
No, it doesn't.
No, this is just a preview.
Stop.
It's editing the preview.
It's actually changing the code, right?
Yeah. And what Air will do is it'll create Git commits as it goes. Apparently.
No. What have we done?
Well, you can undo them. It's not. Now it's just stopped. I don't know. I think it broke.
Yes.
It's possible that the model is busy or something.
Yeah.
So let's try it again. And it's supposed to take into account the context window as to where it went. But you could see
Apologize for the previous response.
I mean, this is related to a preview, so I don't care. Go for it.
No, don't wait.
It seems slow today. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's the model. It's doing more stuff.
Yeah, sure.
We're gonna break it. The preview is apparently it doesn't like preview macro very much. It keeps finding.
I wonder if it's because is it how far back is that model, or how up to date is that model?
This is brand new. This model. I don't know what the
in terms of look at what
it keeps doing. Look, it just made environment. It keeps adding more layers into the environment. Now it's environment, health model, health manager, health store. It keeps trying to do it. Okay, this is probably the last time it'll try to do this. Basically, it'll recurse 3 times, and then the model will say, "I've done it too many times. I can't do it anymore." But the linter error thing is pretty cool that it tries to fix it.
Inspiring a lot of confidence in this tool.
No. How about we just say don't fix the lint errors? Okay, so I don't know what it just did.
Wait, what is it?
Did it do anything? It's looking at the log now. So he says it made a bunch of commits as it went along, and it'll commit it as your name, and then Aider after it. So it said fix, provide basic health model for app view, initialize health. I don't know. It doing preview stuff. Look at how many commits it made. 1, 2, 3, 4.
You know what's hilarious?
It made 4 commits.
Oh, okay. So
let's see if it
you added but I guess it didn't push anything. It doesn't
push anything. It'll just add commits as it goes so that you can undo them more easily. Of course, it's not in a buildable state. We now have 31 errors. So this is totally a skill error. We should not be asking it to do really vague stuff like that. But
Steve,
now everything is broken. But that's okay because we can undo things.
This is again, as Aaron had said, this does not inspire confidence. If it's a skill issue, now we have to go to school to learn how to properly speak
There we go.
Very specific, very specific requirements to get this thing to do what we want it to do.
Well, yeah, I mean, in my experience with these tools, it works best when you ask it to do things that specifically. You have to know what you're doing first. So I just undid that stuff. Let's see if that helped. It might still be broken. It's still broken. I don't know.
Yeah,
It didn't
still
really.
broken.
We completely broke it. So yeah.
Coming up next,
We have to reset the head.
How we spent days fixing the crap
There we go.
that
Now I
AI
fixed
had
it.
broken.
Now I fixed it. No, I didn't. It broke again. It's still broken. Or this could be Xcode. See, this is the downside of doing any of this stuff with Xcode is you don't always know where the problem is. Today, for instance, at the day job, Xcode, see, now it builds fine. So Xcode, no, it doesn't build fine. See, I don't know. It's completely borked right now. But this is the fun with AI. This is your fault, Kotaro. You asked it to do something vague. It's completely busted.
It's
Look,
not.
we now have 31 errors, and I don't even know where they're coming from.
This is. You know what? I need to go into vibe school. I need to learn how to vibe. I need to do this right.
I don't even remember making that change. Okay. Well, look at that. That is supposed to have been. It says April 24th, which is today when we're recording this. Okay. Well, I didn't do that.
Where did it make these changes? Is it in a
this
new
is
branch?
Aider, but it didn't. This had to have been Aider, but look, it didn't put the author name in right. This is from Aider, but why is this in here? I tried to undo it, and it's like,
oh my goodness!
I have to actually go back. I have to go back.
This
I have
feels,
to go back
this
and
feel,
undo it.
This feels like it reminds me of like that movie Megan, or something where like the AI is gonna like reprogram itself, or like Murderbot or something like that.
Oh, I have to go back to an actual. Commit in order to get this to work.
Oh my goodness! How many? Oh my goodness! Okay.
So it's like, I don't know what happened here. So it's not perfect. You know, you got to go reset hard to that. Reset hard. I do reset hard all the time.
You are.
I destroy things, destroy software. Now it'll build. Now it should build. There you go. So you can. But the point I'm making is you can always revert it because it's not pushing things anywhere. It's just making commits, and it makes them atomically as it goes, which is actually really nice because it makes it easier generally to undo things. If you're not asking it to do crazy amounts of stuff and just like what we were doing, like monkeys and just hitting yes over and over again as it recursively made things worse. If you don't do that, you actually use the tool like a professional programmer. I think it actually has some merit to it.
Look,
because
right.
it's nice that
people keep telling me on the interwebs that our jobs are at risk. We're going to be replaced by these things, or nobody's going to need us anymore because they'll be able to prompt using these vague requirements.
Yeah. I don't know about that. I don't know. We could ask, though. We go to chat mode ask, and we can ask questions like, what the hell is HealthDataPoint? And it has autocomplete. Add that in. I just asked it, what the hell is HealthDataPoint? And now it's giving me like, so this is actually a useful part of it, and besides making the code change. Now, in ask mode, it won't do any code changes. Mm-hmm. That's the difference. So the modes are useful because you can silo the kind of work you're doing. Mm-hmm. And so that's what's nice about it. So
you just spent how many cents on this?
I don't know. Let's find out. Let's find out how many credits.
How much credits?
Not much. I mean, I'm down to $9. I had $10. Now I'm down to $9.97.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, this model is not very expensive. So if we just look at April 24th here, I guess we could see that I spent 0.003 cents or something.
Man, that is like one of the weaker crypto coin.
I mean, nothing. And when I was messing around with this before, I spent like not even half a cent. But your mileage will vary depending on what model you use, of course.
Yeah.
And
we have talked about how there's so much sameness in relation to like if you ask it anything weather health kit related, it just gives you the same variation of the same code.
Yeah.
for anything like.
Oh yeah,
health
health
kit
kit related.
specific.
Yeah, health kit stuff. I saw some blog post that was talking about how to do health kit stuff recently, and it was like the same code we wrote. It's like the same code that LLMs spit out. It's like, I don't know where we all got this code from. It's all in our heads and on the interwebs. It's like one way of doing health kit, apparently.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
exists.
Apparently, there's just not enough health kit specific.
Yeah, and then we
content and/or
modified it to
code.
use to better use like structured concurrency. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's just the way it is. Anyway, that's my fun with AI for this week. I recommend giving OpenRouter a look because it lets you mess with multiple models easily. I definitely recommend Gemini because the Flash one especially is pretty cheap. And Aider is a really cool tool if you want to work in the command line, which makes it easier to use with any IDE, with Xcode or whatever, because you don't have to worry about like Cursor. We did that too, but Cursor was like it's like jumping between VS Code and Xcode, where this is just kind of your terminal, which you're probably already in all the time for Git anyway. So
Right. Cool.
I like it. It's cool. I'm going to keep playing with it, and we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll actually save some of the code it generates for next time instead of just reset hard. That's what I had to do every time I've used it so far. But that's a skill issue.
Well, I guess that'll be your sprint objectives.
Yeah.
For this coming sprint. Aaron, what is your capacity for the next 2 weeks?
I don't know. Good question. See if I can get my charts actually integrated into this.
Well, that would
mess,
actually be
so
really helpful. Yeah.
I don't
This hot
know. The
mess.
thing is, they've got so many AI changes now. I don't know how hard is it going to be to.
Don't worry. We'll get it fixed.
Yeah, we're gonna do the UI. We're gonna do some UI
Yeah.
implementation.
Yeah.
And then we'll just keep messing with the domain model as we go along.
Yep.
And
Alright.
more AI, more fun with AI.
Oh yeah. To be continued. But that's all we have for today. You can learn more about Philly Cocoa at phillycocoa.org. There you'll find links to our Slack group, meetup schedule, and contact info. If you're feeling generous, leave a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or whatever your podcast platform of choice is. And please share us with all your developer friends. And one more thing. Just going to be real quick about it, but I'm going to give a shout out to Ronaldo. He has an app called Bleep, which is the tagline is, the website's called Bleep.is, which is, I guess is like Bleep.is.
Nice.
Bleep.is, BLEEP.is. And it's an Mac, iPad, and iPhone app for organizing your ideas visually. So think of it like a very similar dashboard mechanic that we have, but it's a way to bookmark, get inspired, make your own personal collections, just a way to organize some ideas in your head in a sort of like a grid format. So you can put your images in there, you can format your notes, you can share between your Mac and your iPad and your iPhone. They have a Mac browser extension, so you can kind of, take little clips here and there from different websites and bookmark them, etc. I got iCloud Sync, again, so that you can share between your Mac and your iPhone. It's $20, so it's a paid upfront app. That's for the Mac app. The iPhone and iPad app is actually free to download and use. I think there is a limitation. I'm not quite sure what that is, but also I think it's an in-app purchase to sort of build to get the whole sync mechanic to work. So yeah, that's Bleep.is. Check them out.
I love the name.
Yes. All right, cool. Well, till next time, good luck on your own developer journey. We will cheer for you always.
I do reset hard all the time.